If you've seen Corn Warriors Season 5, then you know about the Power Score. For the Podfather Season 2, we have implemented a similar scoring system to measure soybean farming excellence called the BOM score. BOM stands for Basic Operations Measurement. Throughout the growing season, each contestant has been judged on various aspects of their farming operation. These measurements include population, germination, and emergence, innovative management practices mid-season, along with test weight, yield loss, and return on investment through harvest. Of course, to top it all off, each farmer has pulled a 3-acre plot and a 10-acre plot, which will be used for scoring. The yields from these contestant plots as they relate to personal, state, and national farm averages encompass 50% of each farmer's score. From all these different categories, a final BOM score is revealed, and the contestant with the highest score will be donned the Podfather.
I've got a gut feeling this is going to be a good year. The farmer is the eternal optimist.
We farm together as a family. If we all put our heads together, I don't know what we couldn't achieve.
Hopefully we hit 90 bushel. I think we could do it. Just have healthy plants and a good return on investment.
One of the worst things about farming is making a decision on planting depth. 1/4 of an inch on your depth, sometimes you won't get a stain.
As you can see, my pinky ring's empty, so obviously I didn't win. With this class of guys that's in Podfathers, I mean, anyone could win.
This year on Podfather was the second season. It was amazing. Now, one of the Podfathers could not make it here. Grant Smith, he is calving right now. Grant, we called him the associate. Grant came in 5th place with an 80.6 bushel yield. Corey had 4th place with 115.73 bushel. Now, Corey's also known as the Muscle. Now, in 3rd place, we have a guy. This guy is known as the Wise Guy. It's Perry Galloway. He had 120.23. We got a 2nd place from a little further south in Arkansas. Let's give it up for Matt Miles. Matt Miles is the fixer. Matt had a 122.17 yield. All right, so in 1st place, we had the good fella, who is actually now the Don, Temple Rhodes, with 133.26 yield.
So Grant is a guy that is a 1st-generation farmer. He's kind of new to everything, but he's growing, which is great. For Grant, his situation, there is no box. He's already outside of it.
So I've never been to Grant's farm, but I've heard, well, how many states can you see from?
Where he is, it's only 2, but very close to there, you can see there's 4. Where he lays in the valley, there's a river that runs through it, and depending on which side of the river you are on, and you cross over, you're Maryland, West Virginia, and it's really cool. So Potomac runs through there, and he's got all the irrigation that he wants because it's all fresh water that's coming. It's very, very different.
Very unique place, and also just beautiful. I can't believe how beautiful it was there. But we are glad to have Grant on and hopefully give him a little representation up here in his absence. So give us a little bit of your first year on the show. How was it for you?
Oh, it was awesome. I'm glad to be a part of it. A hell of a group of guys. I can't wait to see, what this year is going to bring. I think we're going to excel like we've never seen before. And we got some things that we're going to try and just try to get better every year. And definitely have a team now that, you know, is really going to be able to help me excel.
Grant, you know, I feel your pain. You know, last year I was 98 bushel sitting up here, and everybody probably thought, man, that's pretty easy competition. Sometimes you just have bad years, and you know, Grant, being first year on here, first generation farmer, I look for him to come back, and he's going to be somebody to mess with.
Well, and I think that's kind of the message we've seen throughout the year, everybody working together, and it's going to be fun to see what happens next year, Grant, and we are definitely excited to have you as part of the group, and you are missed up here, man. We know you're busy taking care of stuff, but you are missed here, and I mean that.
Yep, I wish I could have been there.
Copperhead concaves, to me, are the only way to go. This is a real return on our investment. Used less horsepower, less fuel, and did a better job cleaning. It's second to none.
I'm very fortunate that I've been working with Concept Agritech now for 4 years. We have 12 Concept Agritech plots out right now.
Man, this is like drinking water. It does that much for you.
Corey, we got to talk a little bit about your spring. Again, we talked on the corn side, you had a wonderful spring. You tried a few different things with planting this year. Would you talk a little bit about that, maybe the direction you planted and how things went?
Yeah, so we started planting beans April 15th, and you know, we've messed around and tried a bunch of real early planting dates on small acres. And so when April 15th hit, it was cold. Our daytime highs were only in the low 40s. No sun, it was cold, wet, and we decided to pull the trigger, and we had 90% of the soybeans in the ground, and the only reason why we stopped is because we got 5 inches of snow. We're not afraid to go hard and go early with the soybeans. It really paid off this year. As a whole, for everything that we done on soybeans planting-wise early, it definitely paid off. And now this year we did something different with the double diamond beans. First time I ever done the double diamond beans, been an idea I've been wanting to do for a long time. So we've been tracking the sunlight. So sunlight is one of our limiting factors that we have to try to overcome. So pretty much did it like a sundial, trying to track the beans, and planted at 60,000 one direction, and then came back, shifted at 90 degrees and came back and planted again at 60,000. And it turned out really, really well this year. They all came up even. It was definitely something I've never seen before. Last week of July, we had 4 inches in 30 minutes. We had 100 plus miles per hour wind. We lost 3 grain bins. We lost cornfields, and the double diamond beans where they were at, they lodged, they went down. They were so heavily potted on the branches when that wind came through, it just started snapping the branches down.
One thing I noticed too when we'd walk them, we'd look at them, they were pretty uniform. I couldn't believe
Yes.
the branching. It looked good, and I cannot believe the size of the leaves, the upper leaves. They were putting on a bigger leaf from what I saw.
We got a pretty good sized hand, and when you can take one leaf and cover my hand with it, you know that we're doing something right there. I was sickle death this year. Overall with soybeans, you know, I was very blessed.
Everybody's planting beans earlier. That's nothing real new. But what are you guys doing to help protect that seed?
Our biggest problem is when we're coming with a residual PPO and we're planting that seed cold, we know the soil temperatures are in the 30, 35. Our daytime high is only 42 to 44. That's a race. I cannot spray that. It's going to work down. It's going to hit that germ on that seed. So I have to back off. I have to let that bean emerge on its own, and then we're going to come back and take care with the weed problem. You know, The first thing people want is, well, I'll use the dry for the seed and then use the liquid and furrow. Well, no, it's the same product. You're not dual inoculant, so you need different strands. That's why I've been just tickled to death with the liquid side of things. Now, something different from me to Perry and Matt, inoculants are so important to us because our soils are so cold. So where we have found where inoculants get less important the later we plant within the season, we only see, a 3 to 5 bushel increase. So when we're planting in 30 to 35 degree soil temperatures, that bean's gonna be waiting for a while. And that's where dual inoculation is just such a huge improvement for us, where we have to do it on every acre. That's a no-brainer to us now. We've all made mistakes. That's how we've all learned. That's how we've got to the yields that we've got. It's not by being successful the first time. It's by failing the first time, failing at something different the second time, failing at something different the third time, and then hopefully by the fourth time you're starting to figure out where you're going, and we're still figuring out where we're going. I mean, we just had this conversation last week, the limitations of soybeans, I don't think we're even close to it. Who knows where that's at. I would love to get to that 200 bushel mark, and maybe 200 bushel mark is just not attainable. But like my wife would say, I'm very hard-headed, so I'm gonna run into that wall for a while until I figure out that I can't do it. This is what makes you successful, is not giving up just because it didn't work the first time. We want the bottom canopy to be healthy with a good fungicide. We use Revitec on it.
But on our farm, we got to average a 6 bushel better with the Revitec fungicide than any other fungicide.
One of the bigger reasons this harvest has gone so much smoother is we got 2 Fent T9s over there. They've just been pumping the grain. They've done a great job. I've been very pleased with everything.
Perry, and so you're down a little further south. Would you say? Would you call it northern Arkansas, or?
Oh, north central, east Arkansas, somewhere like that.
Your planting date's a little different, but your springtime, what are you changing on that a little bit for planting?
Well, first of all, everything's perfect on my farm. No, that's the furthest from the truth. So again, fungicide on the seed, and an insecticide as well. And there's PGRs, there are biologicals. We do a lot of different things just to increase the likelihood that we're going to get a good stand. The only problem we had this year was I had a planter that wasn't singulating soybeans very well, but we've got that taken care of, and it does make a difference. Y'all who don't know, I plant some on 30-inch rows, and they are raised beds. That's for irrigation, so we use polypipe. That's my main reason for planting on raised beds.
We talked about him having cattle, and I forgot you had the Galloway cattle. Yes.
And I get the question all the time, are you going to butcher them, you going to slaughter them, how they taste? I said, I don't know, they've all got names. I can't go out and kill something that's got a name. I mean, they rub on me like they're cats. So.
Yeah. They are pretty friendly, yeah. Absolutely. One thing I will say we noticed this year, I couldn't believe, was your nodulation. Would you agree with that when we were out looking in your fields?
That particular day even surprised me. And that's just using an inoculant. And I think everybody up here surely uses an inoculant. You and Matt and them broke 100 bushels the first year, and I made 99.7 or 6 or whatever it was. And I didn't use any inoculant. Well, the next year I used it, and I made 103 or 4 or 5, something like that. That's the real deal.
I have planted a little early, maybe too early. We'll see in about 10 days or so. But no, we started looking last year a lot at these stress mitigation products. They're showing a positive ROI. So this year we planted a field on February the 19th, just 46 acres, just to try to try it out, just to see how early is too early.
How many 5-bean pods? You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, we found a lot. I mean, I started out with a bounty on them. We've been looking for them for several years. and couldn't find them. And so you got $100, you found a 5-bean pod, and the first week they found 6. You know, this was just a year. Or it wasn't just a variety, because every variety had them in there. So I know it wasn't a specific variety. It was something, you know, something to do with the year. You know, Rob finding the one he found is probably the one most important.
I was going to say there was one that we caught that was by far
Yeah.
the most important.
But it was just a year for 5-bean pods. I hope that's something that continues on. I hope these, you know, new varieties are what's kicking them off. But it was amazing to see how many we seen. I mean, you can only put so many in a little glass jar, you know, type deal, and that's what I was after.
Yeah, absolutely.
The key for us to get to that 150 bushel level is if we can find products that will take care of the heat. You know, I've got a real good friend that owns a company, and he looked at my soil samples a month or so ago, and he said, these are the best soil samples I've seen in the Delta in my life. You know, with a soybean, this product may react, it may not. You know, we're looking for seed size, you know, and more pods, more 5-bean pods or 4 or whatever. And beans are like a cat versus corn like a dog. You know, you can train a dog to sit, stay, heel, whatever, and a cat, you're gonna chase it around. I feel like that's that way with corn and beans.
With the soybeans Terramax, we brought it out and instantly, man, I just couldn't believe the nodulation we had so early. If you haven't heard of them, you better get to know them because their products are here to play.
We got some Monty's product. We use it in a lot of other crops. It's a changer.
We focus on things that complement soil biology, things that complement soil health.
It just keeps giving back.
Ran the Copperhead Furrow Cruiser this year. Been very good, very happy with it. A lot more aggressive on the closing. Just a simple addition to the planter for better closing.
We was talking about the show and everything, who's gonna be on the show, and Seth said there's a guy named Temple Rhodes. He says, I didn't get in a contest until later, and he said, I planted all my good ground in corn, and he said, I'll be lucky to make 80 bushels, and I was feeling sorry for the guy, and I thought, well, he won't be anything to beat.
Well,
you know, Perry's gonna be a problem, Corey's gonna be a problem, Temple's not gonna be a problem. He can't make but 80 bushel. Sorry, Grant, if you're listening. You should have named him the sandbagger. That would have been perfect. He comes out with 100 and what last year? 140?
48 or something.
48? Right at the soybean tattoo mark. I mean, right there at it.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's back up.
You agreed to that.
I agreed to the soybean tattoo, but you agreed at 150, and then you wanted me to agree, and I did agree, but I backed up.
We got layers here. So there's a soybean tattoo. I don't
This
think
all
they know.
spurs from Dan. As I told Dan and Melissa, if I ever cut 150 bushels, I was gonna get a 5-bean tattoo way up here where nobody could see it, way above where Dan's is. Anyway, that's the Temple story. So I start out with this guy thinking he's cool all season, and then he comes in at 140 something bushels when he told me he's gonna be 80. I'm like, okay, I know who not to go count on anymore.
Yeah, so then I became not just a sandbagger, but an untrustworthy guy.
Now you're, just to be clear, you're in charge of mentoring people then too then.
Valid point, valid point. It's about building relationships, and without a relationship based, you're not gonna make yourself any better. You're only better because the people that you surround yourself with. And that's what Matt was getting at with calling us a brotherhood, because that's really what happens here. You're talking about a true brotherhood. The only reason I'm sitting here is because of the ones here. That's it. It's not because of any other reason. You know, we got this really good group, and it's what's neat to see is like you got Lane. I'm get to mess with Lane and Robbo, and we all have this really great friendship and partnership, kind of, because we're up here, we're kind of partners, and now our next generation. You know, Matt's son. You know, my kids, and my kids don't even look up to me. But here's the neat thing. Those boys, at any given time, I can give Alexander my contacts and he can call those people, and he's talked to Matt. And he visited Corey. Do you understand what that means to that generation? Do you have any idea? Like, for me, right here, that means a lot. And it should to each and every one of us, because it's not about us, it's about them. I leave here today and get killed, and my kids have got a bunch of phone numbers that they can call that make them successful. What does that say? That's huge. That's major.
Yeah, no, and I'm looking forward to like next year just to see what you guys do kind of as a group too, together, helping each other out. And you know what I mean? That's going to be exciting to see, you know, what's going to change there and what might take place.
Everything that we're doing now, all of us up here, we're keeping stuff alive so long, and we don't want it to die, and we don't want it to have any stress. We don't want it to go through any problems. So we're going to get those green pods and them green stems. And every time that we do something, we're going to have some kind of reaction. Now we got to figure out how to deal with that. So I think that for next year, learning the program that I learned this year that really worked, I'm probably going to have to go back to what the boys down south do and have to try to bring that into my operation.
It's fun to watch and see what you guys are doing, you know? And not every year do we get to hit it out of the park. We appreciate everybody here, and we do want to just take a second to recognize Temple here, and if we will call this the proper dawning of season 2 of the Podfather. So Temple, hey, congratulations, sir.
One, it's an honor for me to be up on the stage with these guys. And I don't care who you are in this world, I don't care where we sit up here, there's not a better group of guys that you could learn any more from these guys. And it's all who you surround yourself with, 100%. This is a lot.
It was great to just see your guys' farms, and we appreciate it. So we just want to give you guys a round of applause for just a great season 2. Thank you guys so much.